All right, so early this morning, I put up a video, and this is a very controversial video, and it ended up getting age restricted, so you have to be 18 years old or older in order to watch that video. It's a short, so if you go to my page and click on my shorts on the shorts tab, it should be there. If you are 18 years of age or older, you have to be signed in order to view that video because, again, it is age restricted. Now, the video in question that I'm speaking about took place in Brooklyn, okay? And this was an incident that I didn't see get too much attention. I saw it in a couple of places on Facebook, maybe. And what happened was there was a dispute between two neighbors that lived in the same building in Brooklyn. And what ends up happening, we're going to go through it. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to show everything that happened in this video. I'm going to have to try to skip around a bit in order to avoid, as much as possible, the YouTube restrictions when it comes to that the algorithm of violence and everything like that. But I want to bring this to the front because it really does paint a picture of how your ego can absolutely betray you, right? And then I want to talk about developing, it doesn't matter what I do, I cannot avoid character on this channel, right? Because it's so very important. It's so very important. But along with character, you need temperance in certain situations. You absolutely need temperance. I know everybody's got their ego wrapped up in their manhood, and nobody feels like they want their manhood to ever be challenged or questioned. But that will absolutely lead you. It's leading y'all into detrimental situations. And in some cases, severe cases, is leading you right into the hands of death. And so we're going to go through this video. I'm going to try to mine through it, or at least probe through it and try to select different points that I can view. But let's watch, and then we're gonna talk about it. So this video doesn't have any audio, right? It has no audio, but you see this lady right here, the man over on all the way to the left of the screen that's behind the camera is the downstairs neighbor. His name was Jason, okay? And Jason had a history of calling into the leasing office of this building and reporting his neighbors that lived directly above him, okay? So they live in an apartment building. His neighbors live directly above him. So if you've ever lived in an apartment building, you know how it is to have upstairs neighbors and people that are above your head, right? Sometimes when they get to walking, if they're heavy stumpers, or if they have children that love to play in the living room or anything like that, you're going to be the recipient of receiving all of that noise from above, right? All the stumping, all the running or whatever, loud music, etc. That's if you've ever lived in an apartment building. And so Jason apparently has been going through this issue for quite some time. He's made several reports to the building, to the leasing office about his neighbors upstairs, and they were aware of the complaints, but ultimately nothing really got done, right? So Jason decides that, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to go up here and say something. And I'm going to tell you right now, he got to a boiling point to where it wasn't about just saying something. He was going to do something regardless. Why do I know that? Because he came prepared. You don't go into a situation, you don't go upstairs to talk to your neighbor with a gun on you. You don't go upstairs to just speak calmly with your neighbor with a gun on you and have no ill intent behind it, right? I'm sorry. You can paint the picture however you want to. You can say that maybe he was carrying it for his own protection, but once you see what happens in this video, I don't believe that that's the case, all right? So let's go ahead and go through it. Now you see, now that the camera is zoomed out a little bit, you see this lady here. She is the lady of the home, of this apartment. This young man right here is the stepson of this man. This is her son, okay? So you have the mom, her son there, and then the husband and the stepfather right there. So initially when this video starts, she's the one out in the hallway speaking with the downstairs neighbor. And this isn't the first time that they've spoken. They've had words, or at least that's what the news report said, that they've had words before. And they've had, again, Jason has had issues with them before. So he's upstairs speaking to the mother. You see when the video starts that the stepson has joined the conversation, but he's still standing behind mom's, right? The stepson isn't really saying anything. Now, the stepson is 27 years old. 27 years old, he steps out into the hallway because, he wants to, I'm assuming he wants to have his mom's back. He wants to make sure that nothing extreme is going to happen. So he's out there. He's in protector mode. Then you see the dad step out into the hallway. Dad is 47 years old, local city bus driver from my understanding. He steps out into the hallway. But what you can't quite make out is that he has a pair of scissors there in his hand, in his left hand, right there. He has a pair of scissors in his hand. So that just goes to show you, and it goes to support the idea that this isn't the first time that they have had some type of altercation or some type of meetup, right? That they had issues with one another. This isn't the first time because both of these men are coming prepared. He's coming prepared with a pair of scissors in his left hand. He's coming prepared with that heat. All right? So keep that in mind. I wanted to lay out everything before we get to it. That is the scenario. Both men are coming. In other words, they're ready to go to battle. They're ready to do war. They're ready to go to war. Except somebody was a little bit more prepared than the other. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. And unfortunately, he's about to find out the hard way. So let's continue here. He storms out into the hallway, walks right past the wife, telling her to go back inside. Again, there's no volume here, so whatever is being said, we don't know. And you see him point directly at a man here. You see the scissors. You can see the handle of the scissors right there in his hand, in his right hand now. Walks over to him. He gets right in his face. They're going at it. He's standing there arguing. I'm going to play a little bit more. He holds the scissors up to his face and neck area. Listen, young men, there are some things that you cannot come back from. There are some things that you cannot come back from. The moment you make a threat towards someone's life, you had better be prepared for the consequences. Let me say that one more time. The moment you decide to make a threat on someone's life, you would better be prepared for the consequences of that threat. Because everybody's reaction to being threatened is different. And you cannot, it's a guessing game at that point of how they're going to react. But you had better be prepared. And this guy was not. Okay? His name, I believe his last name was Mathurin. That's what I'm going to call him. And again, local bus driver, known to the city. But he comes out with this pair of scissors. You can see him walk right up to him, get in his face, and he's holding a pair of scissors up to his face or neck area, towards his neck area, and he's talking with this man. Now, you can see at the beginning of this video, he had kept his distance standing over here by the stairwell. So I can't say that he was 1,000% confrontational because he was still kept his distance. This man right here, the downstairs neighbor, he has still kept his distance enough to where he had allowed space, right? And you see he kept his space even from the mom, the woman of the house. He kept his space even from her. He was, again, standing over here. But when this guy comes up with the scissors and holds it up to his neck area, he takes the situation from a level 6 to through the roof. Now you've elevated this. And like I said, to me, it's all ego-based. Because what's stopping these men from having a civil conversation? It's ego at this point. You're tired of them. You're not listening. You feel like you can walk up on them and threaten him. You feel like you can walk up on him and threaten his life. That is not to say that what's about to happen, I agree with or I even warrant, right? Or it's warranted. I do not agree with that. However, like I said, when you make a threat on someone's life, your ass had better be ready for the consequences of those threats. Walks up to his face with the scissors. Let's play a little bit more. The wife can see it's getting out of hand. So she's trying to get in the middle. She knows her husband is going off the rails. She's trying to get in the middle. She tries to go over and pull him back with all of her might. She can't really do it. You see, she's little compared, especially compared to him. This is a big guy. She's little. She tries to pull him back by his shirt, trying to diffuse the situation, which I think is what she was trying to do from the very beginning, right? She's trying to diffuse the situation. Comes out. She tries to pull him back. Look at him. He shrugs her off. Tells her, get out of his face. Get out of my face and go in the house. Shrugs his woman off. Get off me. Get out my face. Go into the house. I'm going to handle this. And he goes right back into his neighbor's face. And by this time, you see it right there. He's like, all right, you gonna keep walking up on me? You gonna keep coming at me in an aggressive and hostile manner, threatening my life? I got something for you. I came prepared. You see it right there. And from this point, it's all downhill. It's all bad. It's all bad from here. All bad from here. I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to play as much as I can. This is the unedited version of this video, so I'm going to have to be very careful and tiptoe the line of where I pause and play. I think I have a good feel for where I need to stop it at, so just bear with me. So he ups the gun on him. He starts to walk away. At this point, he's already got his gun with sights trained on him. And what this man doesn't know is that it's already over. It's too late. The time for talk is over. The threats have been made, have been issued, and now ain't no more talking. It's only action now. It's only action now. And again, you don't have any time to think in this situation because it's like now that you've progressed it, a hostile situation this far, there's no turning back. He doesn't even know that there's nothing he can do. His life is done. Life is not a game, y'all. I know we get our egos. Involved in the moment. You feel like you Superman. You feel like you being tested. You feel like ain't nobody gonna play on your emotions or on your feelings. Ain't nobody gonna make you look soft, right? Ego gets wrapped up in the situation. And before you know it, it's all over. I just watched a video the other day where a man walked up on somebody who was having a discussion. He was having an argument outside with somebody else that was totally uninvolved. He walked up on this person, and out of nowhere, he just floors him. He hits him with all of his might. That young man falls to the ground and hits his head and ends up dying. And now that man is going to jail for manslaughter. Your ego, your pride, all of that shit. We have it in the wrong place. We have misplaced our pride and our ego. Your pride and your ego should be within your work. You should have pride in your pride and your ego should be involved in everything that you're doing as far as trying to progress your life and advance your life and get to the places that you want to plateau. That's where your ego belongs. That's where your ego belongs. That's where your emotions belong. All your hard work. your strong feelings, your desire. That's what you put all of that into your work and then see how far you get. Watch and see if you don't bust through the ceiling and go off into the stratosphere somewhere. That's where your ego belongs. Your ego doesn't belong on the streets with you. Your ego doesn't belong in conversations with you. In conversations with other men. Does that mean you're supposed to be a pushover and allow people to walk all over you? Come on now. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. You hold your own. You defend when you need to. But this is not that case. Because this dude walks out of the house immediately and he's already in war mode. He wasn't defending anything. He came ready for war. So much so that he walks up on this dude and threatens him. And the response is to meet fire with fire. Well, meet fire with a blade. And you're going to lose every time in that case. Because you ain't come prepared. You didn't come as prepared as you should have. You brought a knife to a gunfight. And didn't even know it. I'm going to play a little bit more. This is the moment right here where he walks up on him. And listen, he already got it trained on him. He's trying to walk away at this point and go into the house. He's trying to walk away at this point and go into the house. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. I'm going to have to blur this out during my editing of this. I'm going to play a little bit more. Takes a couple shots. He falls down. You can see the gunfire right there. Dude falls down. He's already dropped. Right here, what you see right here, right on the edge of the frame of the camera, is the stepson who had walked over. I don't know what he was doing over here I don't know how he got from over there or why he walked over from the other side. But he walks over on the other side of the mom, and on the other side, you see the mom in the background. She's running now because the shots have already rung out. The dad is down. He just fell. This is the stepson right here. He's trying to run. He's trying to run away. But he runs towards the shooter. In the moment, I think he just panicked and he was just trying to get out of there. That's what I think happened. He tries to run. I'm play a little bit more. Runs around, and as he's running, he is aiming and shooting. He has his sights fixed on him. I believe they said he had a red dot as well. So his chances of missing, it's not really all. You're probably not going to miss. You got a red dot trained on somebody already. So by this time, you see him fall to the ground. He's already been shot several times, and in the background, you see the father in the background who is down, and he's trying to crawl towards the apartment. Here is where this goes from already dark to midnight, pitch black dark. All right. Again, if you are sensitive to these type of things, I understand. Go ahead, click off. I'm going to play a little bit more. So he's down at this point. He steps over his body and he goes back over to the father. And he goes over quickly. And once he gets there, he stands over him. He stands over him with his gun trained on him and finishes him execution style. He finishes him execution style. All of that happened in about 30 seconds. All of that happened within about 30 seconds. Your life went from alive and well, chilling with your family, to 2 lives gone just like that. I ask y'all, is this worth it? Is it worth it? Is this worth it? Is it worth arguing with somebody to their face over some noise, over a noise dispute? Is it worth it? Could this have been prevented? Could you have placed your ego on the back burner to avoid a confrontation in a situation like this? Like I said, I believe that something was going to happen regardless because, again, the downstairs neighbor came prepared. He was already willing to go this far. And as the story goes, after he finishes him off and executes this man, he comes back to the middle, surveys the scene, and he takes the elevator down. And he disappears into the wind. He's ended up, and he's found sleeping in his car days later by police officers. They talk with him, and all of a sudden, he, again, is on edge. He lunges at them, and they end up putting him down. And he is no longer alive. So that's 3 lives now. Gone. 3 lives gone. Just the fact that his later altercation with police officers happened the way it did, I'm going to go ahead and say that it doesn't matter what was going to happen. Because he was so fed up with the noise, he had already been pushed to the limit and pushed to the brink that he was going to do something regardless. And it's unfortunate. She just watched her son and her husband die right in front of her eyes. Man. So I say all that to say this. Listen, as we go forward and live out our daily lives, I know everybody's got egos to protect. I know everybody's got their manhood to protect. Nobody wants to look soft. Nobody wants to look weak, especially in front of their woman, in front of their lady, in front of their family. You want to appear as the strong, vigilant figure. I get it. I get it. I'm a man. I understand. This in no way says that you are supposed to allow people to walk all over you and do whatever they want. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that certain situations require a different handling because you never know what is right around the corner. You never know the face of danger and death that you are staring in sometimes when you put your ego on the back, when you put your ego in front and you put your emotions in front of the perception and cooler heads in the situation. Be very careful as you live out your daily lives, y'all. Very careful. I'll check y'all out in the next video.
Buckle down for the ride. Run that by me one more time before we slide. Life is long, death is short. No suicides. Free your mind, pray to God. Between you and I. Buckle down for the ride. Run that by me one more time before we slide. Life is long, death is short. No suicides. Free your mind, pray to God. Between you and I do what I want.